I hope you're all up and at 'em. It's Monday morning and it's time to step on the gas pedal and recognize the greatness that you are. And I read a crazy book over the weekend that has really thrown me on my head, to be honest with you, because it talks so much about you. And it talks about where we lead from. And do we lead from manipulation? Do we lead from intimidation, or do we lead from love? And I'm thinking about that a little bit, and there's a lot of times I don't lead from love, and there's a lot of times I need to lead from love. I mean, completely. And I might be saying exactly the same thing to you, and you guys might not even notice that I'm not leading from love, but the person doing the speaking can notice that. And as I looked at this book, and I read this book, and I looked into my own life, at the way that I treat people, it came present to me that treating people as people, not as objects, in network marketing is probably the difference between winning and losing. And there are so many of you who are so good at what you do. And all we need to do is look for the humanness in everybody that we're doing business with. And as you're driving around, and as you're interviewing those two people today, Dan Sutherland, wherever you are on your vacation, and all of a sudden you see those people, you can't say, I'm going to interview that person because he's a prospect, because that prospect all of a sudden becomes an object. If you look for the humanness in everybody that's out there, and you look at a way to contribute to their life, and you look at them as people, as children of the earth, and people that you want to be engaged in and enrolled in your business, it's all going to shift. And that doesn't mean you aren't as intentional as they come about building your business. You're just playing these people where they are instead of where you want them to be. And the cool thing about that, it allows them to be great rather than allows them to be resistant toward what you want them to do when you're in partnership with them. I know that sounds a little goofy and metaphysical or something like that. It's not. It's got absolutely nothing to do with anything other than getting to a point where your entire goal is contribution to the greater good of that human being that you're in front of. What does that mean? Sometimes network marketing isn't right for somebody right now. Sometimes it's so right for them it's unbelievable, and all they need is your guidance to get them where they need to go because they can't get there from here. And I think about several of you on this call, and I'm not going to bring up any names. And I've been looking at you like an object. Like I've got to tell you what to do. I've got to tell you to do it over and over again. And then I get to look back and say, why, as many times as I've told them to do it over and over again, aren't they getting that all they need to do this is get to do those little things I'm asking them to do? Interview two people, for instance. Have 14 leads at the end of the week. 56 leads at the end of the month. And turn around and take those people and find their 4. Well, sometimes people need to see more. I need to look more at the human being I'm talking to. And I need to see where they are. And I need to see where they aren't and where they're stopped. And really plug into what the game they're trying to play is. Because I'm only looking for 4 great people. And with looking for 4 great people, I've got to be so on top of what's going to get them there from here. I need to know what's going to make Ken Smith tick. I need to know what makes Greg and Patty tick. I need to know what makes Earlene Downey tick. I need to know what makes Ken and Maddie tick. And I'll guarantee you what makes those 4 groups of top-line leaders of ours on this call right now tick are 4 different things altogether. But put together, they're all going to get to a huge dynasty of their own if I can only partner with them to unlock their greatness. And instead of tell them what to do, be with them so powerfully every inch of the way, there's no choice in that matter but success. And we can do that. All we need to do is get more and more driven into the foxhole with our people. And it works. I can tell you this, it changed. I read the book, and I came in the coffee shop yesterday, and there's a girl here that works here that I didn't know anything about her down, and I said, I want to ask you some questions about your life. And she thought she was in trouble, but I needed to get what she was looking for because I had all kinds of assumptions about her, and I was wrong 100%. Completely wrong. And it's been bugging me a little bit because I couldn't figure out why everybody loves this girl so much. And I just couldn't see it. Sorry, she's standing right here. No, kidding. The whole thing was, she's got some great attributes, but because of the way I look at the world, I couldn't see her great attributes. And I'm telling you, in your 4 leaders, you've got that same thing going on. And it's your job to be able to pull that out, pull that greatness out, and let them be great still inside of your system. The greater good and the greater whole is your 4 leaders in building it and building those people to diamond. That's their goal. That's your goal. And I ask you this: how closely are you working on their goals to hit their goals? You probably aren't, because we don't know what they are. And then they don't hit their goals, and we're upset and we're frustrated and we're mad and we're self-righteous and we do all this stuff. And believe it or not, having read this book, and I'm not going to tell you what the book is because I'm not trying to sell you another dang book, at the end of the day, it's my fault. It's my fault for not seeing what it was they needed in order to be great. And it's not like right or wrong fault. It's like I was looking at them differently than I should have looked at them. If I would have looked at them as powerfully as that little girl that works at the coffee shop here, it would have been all over with the crying. Because I can see now what that little girl needs to even be greater, and she can see what she needs to be greater in her goal, which wasn't even obvious to me at the very beginning. It's amazing. And I know this sounded a little bit like Chinese, but I feel like I'm a reborn man today, because I can see something I didn't see yesterday existed, and that was my part in people not being so successful as I want them to be, and as I know they want to be. I wasn't supporting them as much as I might have even been holding them back. And the words coming out of my mouth will be almost the same words coming out of my mouth, but I'm going to do it from a place of absolute love instead of a place of absolute something else, whatever was behind it. It's amazing and it's complicated, but it's really, really cool. And what I'm trying to tell you is this business is personal development. That's all it is. It's getting better and better at what you already do. And I have got to put myself in your shoes and help you walk. I've got to put myself in your life and help your life be easier. I've got to understand and relate, especially if you're one of my 4 leaders, because you are worth it. This is the greatest thing going. I believe in my industry so much, this profession. I believe that each and every one of you can have whatever you want out of your life in this profession. I believe that there is nothing better than this profession. Am I living it that way? Am I showing it that way? Am I believing it that way? Am I making a contribution that way? Probably not. And the reason was I wasn't getting into the humanness of the people that I was doing business with. And that's going to change starting today. And believe me, it takes some time. I already had an upset with a guy this morning, not on longevity, but on another front, that I now, having heard what's coming out of my mouth, reflected on that book, I've got to walk out of here and go clean up that conversation because I handled it differently than I could have. I didn't play it as big as I should have. And I don't want to live my life that way. My goal is to become a great human being, a great friend, a tremendous husband, an unbelievable father, a terrific leader, a person that you know, no matter what's going on in your life, that you can count on me. And I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to throw you over the cliff. I'm not going to smirk. All I'm going to do is be with you as a human through whatever you're going through. That's my goal. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm more present than ever before. How much I love you, how much I love this business. One of the rock stars in network marketing came into Buzz yesterday. Several of you have heard his tapes and CDs. He walked in for the radio show. He was a good friend. I didn't even recognize him. He's a good friend of Greg Arnold. They're hugging and talking. But at the end of the day, the guy said, this longevity culture that you have built is what network marketing is all about. I wish I had a coffee shop. I wish I had this kind of culture. Well, you do. Well, you do, and well, you do. You don't have to buy a coffee shop. You can do this in a coffee shop in your own city. Create that culture of love and leadership. It will win. I love each and every one of you. It is going to be a great Monday. Go get your people. Peggy Lapsley's calls tonight.